What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another fun-filled adventure on the PlayStation Drive. This is episode 65, and I'm your host, Matt, and we're going to have a wonderful adventure today. You may notice that I have a pretty incredible guest on with me this week. One of the hypest men on this worldwide interwebs, the leader of the Golden Gang himself, Mr. Midas. What's going on, my dude?
What's going on? I am in the building. Go shorty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. You get me? I got my drink. I got my snacks. You get me? I'm ready to take over this whip. Or I can do the passenger thing. I don't mind. You know what? You see me, I got a driving license from the UK, which means I can drive stick. So if you need me to take over, I can take over the thing. But thank you so much for having me. What's going on?
Dude, I'm so excited you're here. We've talked about doing PlayStation stuff together, and we've done it a bunch of times. I'm excited to have you on Carpool to rock on the PlayStation Drive, because you better believe that the jams are going to be immaculate. But before we get any further into it, we need to do some garage cleaning. If you're watching us here on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell so you know when all of the incredible content here on Carpool goes live. You know about it and you're ready for it. If you have a couple extra bucks to toss our way and you would like to tip your driver, head over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and toss a couple bucks in that old tip jar. And out comes a massive cornucopia of content, including one of the best named podcasts on the internet, the Pants Podcast for Patreon Podcast. I don't know if I got that right, but that seems right, and I'm going to roll right through it. If you're listening to us on your podcast network of choice, once again, please hit that follow, hit that subscribe, leave us that wonderful 5-star review, because we appreciate it and it helps us grow and reach more wonderful people all over the globe, such as yourselves. But, my dude, very quickly, before we get into the rigmarole, before we start talking about what we've been playing, for anybody who somehow doesn't know you, Mr. Midas, give us the quick lowdown and where can people find more of you?
So I am Mr. Midas. I am a video game TV presenter and content producer based in the UK. I've been in the scene for a long time. I work towards making sure that enough representation is happening within the space. So I do a lot when it comes to making sure Black voices are being seen and heard in this space. I am the producer and creator of GGR on GRM Daily. You can find me on Jinx Esports TV. You can see me on doing stuff with the BAFTAs. You can see me all over the place. I am a super PlayStation guy. Some of the people call me a PlayStation fanboy, but I just love what I love. And as you said, I am the leader of the Golden Gang Clique. And this is Gold Touch Studios that we're here right now in the UK.
In the UK, this Canada-UK crossover. My dude, like I said, I'm so happy that you're here with me. And let's get into it, because we've been playing a whole bunch of stuff. So we need to take out that carrier pigeon, strap a little ink blot and, paper onto its leg, send that all the way over to the UK, have you grab that, scribble down, the songs that you want over, send that thing all the way back. I'm going to catch it, find it Spiderman style out in the city, doing stuff, grab that, make a playlist, and slap that in, because this is the playlist. Mr. Midas, what have you been playing?
We could just send an email, innit?
Nope.
Save a lot more time and effort.
Cannot take the easy way. As complicated as possible.
So I've been playing a few games. So the first game I've been playing is Saints Row. We know right now Saints Row is super bombing. It's got like a 63 on Metacritic right now, like super low score. But I've been playing the heck out of that. Basically, I got invited to a preview event via PlayOn. I played it for like 3 hours, and I basically told everyone what I thought of it. And I was basically like, look, it's got lots of stuff wrong with it, and it feels like a PS3 game. It feels super old. And that never changed. And then when I actually got my review code, I knew everything that was wrong with it already. So I just dived into what was good about it. And Matt, it actually got me. It actually got me. I actually had a lot of fun with it. Like, it's silly as hell. It's not broken like certain games, but it's just not certain things that we just expect. For example, like driving a car in it, it feels like a Matchbox car. It doesn't really feel weighted. So
Okay.
but I literally, the first day I got it, because I had a really quick embargo, I got it on Wednesday, and then I had to put out a video on Monday. So when I got it Wednesday night, I played it for 5 hours. Then the next day, I played it for 7 hours. I haven't played a game for 7 hours in years. No, I'm lying. Probably when Final Fantasy came out. That was probably the last time I played for
That
like
was
7 hours.
75 hours straight. But okay, so
Exactly.
let me ask you this real quick then, because like you said, the reviews haven't been super positive. Even in your preview, like you mentioned, you were like, this is what's going on with it. What about it has grabbed you so hard, even in the face of a low Metacritic score, even with, you knowing what it was going into it? Do you think it was your expectation going into it? Do you think it's something the game is doing? What has grabbed you?
You know what? Sometimes you just want to go outside and have a water fight. Sometimes it's a nice day. You know you're a grown adult. Water fights are for kids, but sometimes you just want to get a water balloon and dash it in a kid's face.
Of course.
Sometimes you just want to do that. And that's what Saints Row is. It's silly. It's McDonald's. Like, you know it's not healthy. You know it's not good for you, but sometimes you just enjoy it. And I think that's what I'm liking about it. I'm liking the wackiness. I really like the character creation. I really like the shooting, like the snap mechanic. The shooting is so easy because literally it snaps on every NPC.
Nice.
And yes, it's just silly and fun. And I think that's what I've been enjoying, because I've been in this hiatus where nothing's really been exciting me.
Right.
Like, I can't remember. It's been a while since a game really, really grabbed me. So yeah, this has grabbed me. But it ain't a great game. So I'll keep that a buck. Like, I ain't going to tell anyone, yeah, Saints Row is a sick game. It's just fun, innit? And sometimes I think, especially because we're on the press side of it, sometimes we overthink.
Yep.
And I remember some of the games I used to play, like, if I look back, The Bouncer, people love The Bouncer on PS2. They scream hard. That game is trash, fam. The Bouncer is trash. But you know what? It was fun. It was just a fun little beat 'em up.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. It's just fun to get lost in.
Well, that's it, right? Like sometimes, like you mentioned, like we look at games in a very, very critical light, and especially like with the rise of things like Metacritic and OpenCritic and just online discourse, I feel like it's so hard just to enjoy a game for just enjoying the game. But I'm glad you're vibing with it. I'm glad you're enjoying with it. Have you been playing anything else, or has it been all Saints Row all day lately?
So now Quartz isn't here. We can get our waifus on. We can go anime-esque. Look, I got some new statues right there that I've just brought into the camp. You get me?
Yeah.
I got Urza and then, you get me? We're going to go all anime. You get me? Because you know I'm the JRPG specialist. And I've been playing Soul Hackers 2.
Nice.
Now, Matt, ask me, what do you think about Soul Hackers 2?
Okay, Mr. Midas, I have a question for you. It's one that I've been thinking about for quite a while. It's something that I've really been, honestly, a little bit nervous to ask you. But what do you think about Soul Hackers 2?
It's trash, but I'm enjoying it. There's a theme this week.
There you go.
Now, seriously, Soul Hackers 2 basically is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, just like Persona. Fam, this game ain't Persona. Like, if you're not into your waifus, if you're not into your animes, if you're not into your JRPGs, leave this alone.
Right.
It's not gonna get you. It's not like a Final Fantasy or a Persona that even if you're not into that genre, it might grab you in.
Yep.
This ain't doing that, fam. This is literally for people like me and you that will sit there for an hour just for people talking.
Right.
Matt, I was playing, my PlayStation asked to turn off 3 times. I ain't pressed no buttons, you know. This is all dialogue 3 times. But PlayStation's like, are you still playing me? Do you want to turn me off? That's how mad it is. So yeah, those are the 2. What have you been playing?
Nice, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I've had my eye on Soul Hackers 2. I know Ryan was really excited about it, and it does look very, very visually cool. It does look like it has a lot of style, so I do think I'm going to play it at some point. It's just right now with so much going on, just haven't had a chance to. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, and that's kind of what I expected out of it. This is a JRPG for JRPG fans, and I don't think it needs to be anything more than that. But as for myself, I got obsessed with Rollerdrome. Shout out to the team at Terra Bruno PR who sent me a review code to check it out. Super appreciate it. We saw it on the State of Play a few months ago, and I was like, game looks all right. Looks like, visually very similar to Sable. Gameplay-wise, it's guns, it's Tony Hawk. I don't really get it, but, let's see what happens. And then reviews hit, and I was like, oh no, maybe this game is for me. So did a quick bit of research and got the game. Dude, similarly, I haven't played just like a game for like a big chunk of time in quite a minute. I was stuck on Rollerdrome for like 4 or 5 hours. Like my eyes were like open, bloodshot, tears streaming down my face because I couldn't look away. The game is just so much fun, and it makes you feel like such a badass. Like, it really just does make you feel so cool. For anybody unaware, Rollerdrome is the new game that just came out. It's like Tony Hawk mixed with Super Hot mixed with Neon White, where you're on roller skates, you get sent into an arena, and you basically just have to blast enemies away while trying to stay alive, and you do tricks to reload. It is really, really cool. It is really tough. The game itself is only probably about 6 to 7 hours long, but I completed in that time doing about half of the challenges because the other half are not easy. But it's the type of game that, like, if you mess up, it's your fault. You didn't dodge at the right time. You didn't use the right weapon for this situation. You didn't clear the right enemy in the right moment. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the most fun experiences I've had this year. And that seems to be like my running narrative this year. It's been like Sifu, Neon White, Rollerdrome, these like very challenge-based, skill-based, really quick games that have completely grabbed me. And that's not usually my genre, that's not usually my space, but I've loved them all. Rollerdrome is just a lot of fun. If anybody has PlayStation Plus Premium, it's on the game trials, and like Court and I talk about all the time, never using these game trials. I would tell you to use it on this and just check it out and see if it's for you. You'll know pretty quickly if this is the type of game that you're going to enjoy or not. But if like the marriage of Tony Hawk, Super Hot, and Neon White sounds like fun, please check it out because it really is a blast. I really love my time with it. And like there's a mode that unlocks after that makes things even harder. Not going that far because I'm not ready to kind of put my controller through the screen trying to do this, but like the game is a blast. It's one of my biggest surprises of this year so far. And then the other thing that I can't stop, I keep messing with is Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on my Steam Deck. It's just so much fun. The fact that, again, I know I've said this before, the fact that it runs as well as it does on a handheld game, being able to take one of my favorite games with me on the go is just so much fun. Once again, huge shout out to PlayStation Canada for hooking me up with that review code because it's so much fun. And just being able to all right, I got to work early. I'm 15 minutes to work early. Let's swing around a little bit, knock out a couple backpacks, grab a little things here, just kind of continue on with my day. Even at lunch, okay, I finished eating, got half an hour. Let me hop back in. Let me go, catch some pigeons and mess around. The game is just so much fun, and it's one of my favorite games ever. And just having it with me portably in a way that functions as well as it does, it's awesome, dude. Loving it. And last thing I wanted to shout out very quickly. Shout out to the team at PlayStation Canada once again. I got my Last of Us Last of Us Part 1 code today. Haven't been able to hop in as of yet, but, we'll have impressions and reviews going up next week, so get excited for that. So, my dude, yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
No, the only thing I needed PlayStation to do for me
was
take out them stupid pigeons out of that remaster. That is the worst thing about Spider-Man. Take out the pigeons. But yeah, I haven't started it yet. I've got it as well. Shout out PlayStation UK. They've sent it over to me, and I'm excited to jump in. But there's so many games right now. Yep. I'm like, do you know what? I actually want to play that in my own time. Yeah. I don't want to have to rush it for review. I actually just want to, because it's been a long time since I played the OG Spider-Man on PS4. Like, obviously we played Miles Morales launched on a PS5, but I really want to kind of sink my teeth back into that.
Well, let me tell you, dude, real quick. A, now you have your monster of a PC. I'm sure it's going to look incredible. And B, those pigeon side quests are some of my favorite. I actually think it narratively goes to a place that I wasn't expecting, and I really love them. I was like, I'm getting all these pigeons. I'm gonna help this guy out. I love that. I think I'm in the minority that genuinely really cares about that side quest. So please, Spider-Man 2, give me more pigeons. Give me 100 of them. I'll be happily collecting all of them. Midas is like, I'm done with you, dude. We're not having this conversation anymore. All right.
I feel like Courts when you talk about JRPGs now, talking about these pigeons.
I hate birds. You know that too. I hate birds. Not about them whatsoever. But in this case, I will happily catch those pigeons. My dude, let's get into it because we have a whole bunch of breaking news to get into. And let's start with one of the big ones because this has been making headlines. It's been the talk of the town on Twitter and everywhere else. Coming from the PlayStation blog itself, PS5 priced to increase in select markets due to global economic environment, including high inflation rates. The global economic environment is a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. We're seeing high global inflation rates as well as adverse currency trends impacting consumers and creating pressure on many industries. They basically go on to say that they're raising the price of the PS5 across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, as well as Canada, with no price increase in the United States. Canada, we got away a little bit, scot-free. It was about a $20 difference. I know other markets have had increases of almost up to like $50 or $60 American. So it is global, it is substantial. What do you think, Midas? Because I know a lot of people online aren't happy with this. Is the PlayStation 5 getting too expensive? Is it weird that they increased the price like this? Where are your thoughts on this?
It is rude. Now, firstly, I have to, just for transparency, Sony sent me my PS5. So I got my PS5 early for a review copy. But that doesn't change the feeling where I think this is so rude and it's proper weird. Like, I thought it was weird when I heard about the Oculus, but I never thought this would happen to consoles. So I wanna add a little bit more facts onto what you were just saying. So in an article in the Forbes, it stated that the UK will be paying an extra 6%, and Europe will increase by 10%. Japan, which is the first region that's going up, which from September the 15th. Now, we know how hard it is for them to sell PlayStation 5s in Japan. It's going up 21%, fam. Like, what is this? And then in Canada, you lot are only going up around 3%. So it's mad. Like, right now, the world is in a crisis when it comes to living. Like, right now, I'll be honest with you. They said in the UK in October, all of our electricity and gas bills are going to quadruple, and then in January it's gonna go up even more.
Great.
Come January, I might not even have the electricity to play my PS5. More or less, have to go and buy one for £30 more. But yeah, no. More seriously, I feel like it's really bad for consumers, and it's really weird because I remember back in the days, like when I had my PS3, I was like, I don't need a PS4 yet. There's not enough games for it yet. Let me wait for the price to drop.
Yep.
Well, that, like, the amount of people be like, I can't afford it yet. Let the price go a bit cheaper. Wait for them to drop a cheaper model. It's mad. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is console manufacturers they lose money on consoles until they sell a certain amount. So when the PS5 first come out, they wasn't earning profit on it anyway. And I get that things are going up, but I just don't. I think it's so weird to have something at a price point and just put it up. I get it when it's an ongoing service, a Netflix or something like that, but an actual tangible, like, it's like, for example, if you went to buy a cup and you're like, raw, I like that cup, and you're like, do you know what? £5, or $5. I don't have $5 right now. So I'm gonna go and buy my cup tomorrow. And you come in and it's $50. You be like, rah! That cup was $5. How's it 50 now? So,
right.
Yeah, as you can hear, I love myself some PlayStation, but I think it's rude. What do you think?
I'm with you on this entirely. The PlayStation 5 is selling out so rapidly everywhere right now, and the fact of the matter is that this isn't really going to influence anyone's ability to go, well, not ability, but people who want the PS5 are going to buy the PS5. People were spending $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 for this thing, buying it through scalpers, and there was people online being like, yes, PlayStation, make it more expensive, I'll keep supporting you, which is like, whatever, do what you want with your own money. But like you mentioned, when the world is at a place now where so many people are out of work, where there is a massive talent issue in a lot of industries right now, with people looking for work but not getting paid enough, to now turn around and say, hey, you know what? We're this giant company. We're Sony. We're one of the biggest companies in the game. We need to raise the prices of the PS5 $20. But, you'll understand. I just don't think it's a good look, especially now that Nintendo and Xbox have turned around and been like, we're not raising anything. We're good. I just think it's gross. I don't think it's necessary. And I just think it's a completely unforced error to do this now in a time where, like, again, people are excited. People want games. There's so much cool stuff coming out for the PlayStation. There's so many people who are still hunting for a PS5. And for them to turn around and be like, we know you're going to buy it. We know you will. We know these things will continue to fly off the shelves. We're gonna make you pay more for it, especially here in Canada right now. Court tweeted about this, and I think it's a fantastic point. Buying a PS5 right now in Canada from a retailer, you pretty much have to buy them bundled. It's almost impossible to find any of them for just the unit itself. You're paying $100 to $200 more for the extra controllers, the game that it comes with, and there's not a lot of opportunity to be able to buy that already. So already this thing is more expensive. Now once you factor in the extra price increase, now you actually you factor in the taxes on top of the bundles, this thing's running like $1,000 at retail. So I think it's just unnecessary. I don't see how this is really going to make a massive difference for them in the long run. I think it sucks, honestly.
It's rude, man. And it's even more rude because it's like, all right, we're charging extra, but no, America, you're cool. You're cool. Don't worry. Because we know that you're right. We know that you'll lose your mind. So you're cool. We won't charge you. Everyone else is picking up the bill. That's like, you go out to eat with your friends, yeah? And everyone's drinking. They've got 15 drinks.
Yes.
And all you've had is water. And then they're like, should we split the bill? And you're like, fam, my food costs $20. You lots cost $250. And now I'm paying $150 for my meal that I could have just gone back these. Like, it's just rude.
So I'm going to bring in Donnie at Eat the Hype over on Twitter because he asked a question about this. And he says, I'm very excited to listen to this one. My question for the pod and PlayStation can simply be asked via GIF. And the GIF that he put is Tom DeLonge in the, I think it's What's My Age Again music video going, I'm not going to say it, but WTF, man. I'm seeing some of this narrative that people are like, okay, they're not raising prices in the US because they still want to stay competitive with the Xbox, and they're nervous about Game Pass, they're nervous about how the Xboxes are continuing to do well. Do you think there's any merit in that? Do you think that there's any part of this that's them saying, hey, you know what? Maybe the Xbox did do it right. Maybe the Series S having that lower price point again now looks even more tantalizing. Do you think that this was a reaction at all to Microsoft, or do you think this is them just being like, again, we know you're going to buy it, so we're going to raise the price?
I think it's like Sony's not stupid. There's a reason why people love the console so much. There's a reason why we're fanboys. There's a reason why they do all of these things. And I feel like they're at a point where they're like, all right, cool. There's certain things we can get away with, and there's certain things that we can't. I honestly believe what's really interesting to me is them not charging more in America is showing now that is their most important region.
Right.
That's what is coming. Because remember, we've known for a while that Sony isn't the Japanese company that they once was. Like people like me and you who love JRPGs and stuff like that, but they still have really great relationships with Square Enix and Bandai and stuff like that, but they're not the Japanese company that they once was. And this move speaks volumes, because if they want to raise the price that high in Japan, and Japan is the place that they are struggling to be able to sell units, it speaks a lot. But also as well, it speaks a lot of volume of where they're getting these components from, because that means that in America, they're able to get everything there and they're shipping them out with no problem. It feels like everything else is, all right, this is all of our extra shipping costs that's going into these little extra manufacture parts. So I almost feel like we're getting the brunt of the bill of shipping. But honestly, like, the world is mad right now, but I honestly feel like don't have a price point if you have to go up.
Yeah.
I would have rathered it started at this price point and everyone just like, oh, this is a bit expensive. But how are people who bought the day one console getting a better deal than people who bought it like 2 years later? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah. Like I said, they're smart people. They're not just going to do things for the sake of it. I honestly don't think it's a reaction to Games Pass, but I think overall it's a reaction of Sony's strategy of the markets.
I think you make a really good point there, especially like the point of them kind of putting the brunt of the supply chain and the manufacturing issues that they must be going through, which is very public, been very public, kind of putting the brunt on that for the rest of the world. But I guess we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the news. We'll see what, if PlayStation continues to make moves like this. I know it's funny that, Sean tweeted out that, that happened actually with the PS4 in Canada as well. They raised the price after launch. So I hope that this doesn't become a trend. I hope this just doesn't something, that they're going to keep doing. Instead of price cuts, they're like, you know what, it's been 2 years, give us $50 more. Let's hope that doesn't become the norm. But let's roll over into our next story coming from IGN. Everything announced at Gamescom opening night live, written by Ryan Dinsdale. We had Gamescom 2022 is upon us, and Jeff Keighley's opening night live kicked things off with a ton of new announcements for games including Gotham Knights, Hogwarts Legacy, Sonic Frontiers, and more. I'm going to do a quick run through, and then I'm going to ask for your highlights, Midas. We got a new game called Everywhere from ex-Rockstar developers. We saw next to nothing about it, but we'll find out more. Dune Awakening is a new open-world survival MMO set in the Dune universe. Sony, of course, I'm sure we're going to get into this, but reveals the DualSense Edge for PS5, their new kind of pro controller. Callisto Protocol got some new gameplay. The Lords of the Fallen is now a new game, a new sequel to Lords of the Fallen. Moving Out 2 is announced. Hogwarts Legacy got some new stuff. New Tales of the Borderlands is announced, coming for October 21st. Dying Light 2 is getting its first major story expansion October 13th. Tortuga Pirate's Tale has been revealed. It'll be coming to platforms sometime in the future. Sonic Frontiers got their official announcement for November 8th. We got a new Quantic Dream game, Under the Waves. We got a bit about an oil company diver in the 1970s exploring the depths of the North Sea. It's supposed to be coming out in 2023. Goat Simulator 3 got gameplay. Return to Monkey Island is coming out September 19th. Moonbreaker, which was one of the things that I was, looked pretty cool. It's a new game written by Brandon Sanderson, who's a prolific author. Friends vs. Friends, who Lachlan very much shouted out as being the Carpool cast and different animals, them shooting each other with card-based stuff. Lies of P, which is one of the most talked about things based on the story of Pinocchio. It looks like a Souls-like, coming to Game Pass Day 1. Stranded Alien Dawn, we got a cinematic for that. Atlas Fallen, we saw some stuff from Homeworld 3, Genshin. Let's see what else here. I'm just going to see High on Life got a new trailer, fighting a boss. That one looked all right. The Expanse got a release window of summer 2023. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a multiplayer game. That's a thing. Scars Above. Let's see what else here. There's a new RPG coming from Jeff Gardner, who's a Fallout and Skyrim veteran. Age of Empire 4's got stuff. Gotham Knights is releasing earlier on October 21st. I believe the original date was October 26th, but now it looks like it's coming a little bit earlier. Hideo Kojima is starting a podcast. That was big news. And then we got a couple new things. Oh yeah, of course, the Pokemon Mini. How can we forget about that? Phantom Hellcat is a new hack and slash that looks like it's coming soon. And we got a couple other things, but the big thing that they ended on, well, quote unquote big, was Dead Island 2 is real and it's just a few months away. It looks like it's coming February 3rd. So before we get into the specifics, Midas, opening night live, how was it? Did he nail it? Was it just okay? How do you feel about opening night live this year?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I feel like right now the gaming industry is Jeff Keighley. Like he's got such a finger in the pulse, and it almost feels like, I don't know how, but he's navigated everything being his thing. Yeah. Like Gamescom, even though he's always had opening night live, Gamescom never felt like Jeff's thing, but this year it felt like another part of Jeff's thing. So I don't know how he's doing. He's masterminding and owning everything. The first thing that I liked is that he actually had a second host with him. So it wasn't just a Jeff show, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I enjoyed it. To be honest with you, I kind of watched it in the background while I was capturing for Saints. Mm-hmm. So I was like, had my AirPods in and was watching. But yeah, like my subscription tab in my YouTube's been going mad. So there's quite a few games that I want to talk to you about. But what was your feeling?
I thought it was all right. I don't think it was his strongest showing. I think it was one of his best produced. I think, it kept to that kind of 2-hour mark. I think it ran well. There wasn't just a lot of games for me in this showcase that I was particularly very excited about, but I do appreciate that, he continues to be listening. He continues to be evolving, the way that he puts these things together. So I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay. Hit me with your highlights. What are the big standouts for you?
Yeah. All right. So the first one that really stood out to me is Lies of P. So I've seen this for a while. Now, Matt, you know me. I'm not about this Souls thing. I'm not about the Bloodborns. I'm not about Sekiros. No. I'm not about any of them. Demon Souls, Dark Souls. I'm not about that life. I do not like to get my head and smash it against a wall. But Lies of P, I'm gonna give it a try. Like, I love the dark kind of Pinocchio-esque. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to run through them, or do you want to go through them one by one?
Hit me with them, and I'll interrupt if I agree or if I'm with you on it.
Cool. All right, so Lies of P really, really stood out to me. I love the look of that and just how they're doing it with the whole Pinocchio thing. Super sick. I watched the 10-minute trailer for Spoken, which is obviously the Isekai Final Fantasy-esque kind of thing with the black lady. And I so hyped for that game, but every single time I watch more and more, I get more scared for it.
Really?
Like, every time I watch it, I'm like, I see so much things that are wrong that are like, and I'm not even that guy. Like, I'm looking at textures in the background, like, why does that building look like that? I'm not that person. You see, when I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, I wasn't even looking at the bad door. I didn't even realize there was a bad door. Everyone was like, oh my God, the door's so bad. I was like, fam, the door looked fine to me. But yeah, the more I've seen Forspoken, like, I'm secretly a little bit worried about it.
So I'm gonna hop in here for a sec because I actually think that this trailer, the 10 minutes, was the best the game has shown so far. I was with you. I think like when we first announced it, I was like, that looks hype, that looks awesome. And then every time we saw anything after that, I was kind of like, this might just be okay. I hope that with the delay and them taking their time with it, I think this is the best the game has shown yet. But I still think you're right that I am a little bit nervous about it, but this actually has made me more optimistic than I was before, personally.
Matt, did you see the conversation with the NPC, the one who's making the iron?
I know.
It was like some old school PS2 thing.
It was.
Let me say a line. Let's take a space. Now you say a line. Let's take a space. Now it's your time. I'm like, no, this cannot be a PS5 game. What is going on? Like,
fair.
After we've had The Last of Us, come on. Like, so... Yeah. So that I'm super excited about. It wasn't directly in the show, but it was either a day before, a couple days. Have you seen Wanted Dead?
I have not.
Wanted Dead. All right, looks so sick. So basically, it's made by a random bunch of people. So it's people from Dead or Alive. It's for Platinum. Couple other people, and basically, it's like a Ninja Gaiden kind of chopping hack and slash, but it's got shooting as well. The main character is a female protagonist. She's a Fed, which is a police officer, and like she's shooting and jumping around. Like, it looks proper sick. So that really got me. Black Myth. I'm really looking forward to that with the ape. And Callisto Protocol.
Yes.
So I've never played Dead Space.
Me neither.
It was one of the games. Mass Effect and Dead Space is the two games that I miss. So I'm really hyped for the remakes of Dead Space, and I'm really hyped for Callisto Protocol. I'm not Mr. Super Horror, but I love games like Resident Evil and stuff. And I love when a horror games in third person. None of this first person horror thing for me. I need to see myself and see the person I'm taking out over there. And I've never played Dead Island. So I was like, okay, I'm excited for people who are excited. And Soul Frame, did you see that? That was really weird.
No, I haven't.
So basically, you saw some naked person on the beach, and then they was woken up by some animals, and then they started fighting people and putting the sword in the ground, and then the sword turned into like some magic earth sword. Some weird thing, fam. Very weird trailers I saw. But those are the things from Gamescom that kind of stood out to me. What about you?
For me, Moving Out 2 is this game I'm genuinely excited about. We did a Let's Play with that way back in the day. I really enjoyed the first one. I think it's a lot of fun. Excited to see what they're going to do with the sequel.
I hate it.
Really?
I really don't like it.
No.
And you know how much I love Overcooked.
Yeah.
You know I am the Overcooked don.
I know.
Can't stand it.
Really?
Yeah, can't stand it.
Fair enough.
Didn't click with me.
And I get that. I feel like the movement is a little bit jankier, but I loved what it was. I'm legit excited for Sonic Frontiers. The more I see of that game coming out November 8th, I think is a really smart call. People are like, oh, but God of War. Listen, the amount of people who are going to be buying God of War and Sonic on day one is not many. There's going to be a lot of people who don't have PS5s, who aren't excited about God of War, who are going to be looking forward to Sonic. Timing this before Black Friday, before the Christmas season, where a lot of parents are going to be looking for video games to buy for their kids for the holidays. excuse me, this makes a lot of sense for me. I hope it's going to be. I hope it's going to be good. My expectations are that it's going to be all right, and I'm kind of okay with that. In terms
that was the best trailer for it, by the way. That was definitely the best trailer for it, and it was the first time I saw the actual levels, because all they keep showing is this open world, like Breath of the Wild thing, and I'm like, how is this working? And I'm like, oh, there is actual Sonic levels in there. This should have been a launch trailer. It was the best one.
I agree. I think this was the best trailer. It's the best way that the game is shown. And I'm curious to see more from it. Moonbreaker has me very curious. I'm not usually big on these kind of like StarCraft, like, you know, tabletop type games, but there was something about the kind of attitude with the game, the way that it looked. And Brandon Sanderson is a fantastic writer and a fantastic author, so I'm excited to see what he brings to that. Lies of PL, check out. I don't think I'm as high on it as a lot of other people are, but it coming in Game Pass day one, I will check it out. I mean, why not? And I think the other thing, as I'm quickly scrolling down from it here, I think that's almost it. Like that, I think the rest of it like looked cool. Oh, this is the other one, Phantom Hellcat. We got a quick trailer for this, but this looks really sick. Like this like 2D, 3D, you know, game where you're this woman running around and just slicing through people. The game looks cool, and I am very curious to kind of see more from it. And you know, supporting some indies is always cool. So for me, I thought Gamescom opening night live was solid. I think Gamescom as a whole, we've gotten some cool stuff from it so far. But I'm excited to see what else we get. But obviously, the big one that we need to talk about is the DualSense Edge. People have been asking for like a PlayStation 5 Pro controller for quite some time, and we're finally getting one coming from PlayStation themselves. Let's see, it's an ultra customizable controllers. You can have the button remapping. You can take out the sticks and change them. It comes with the paddles. It looks like there's going to be a lot that you could do with this controller. Midas, are you hyped for the DualSense Edge? And very, very quickly, I'm going to bring in Taylor, TPR, over on the Discord, who asks a question for the show. DualSense Edge, will it be over or under 150 USD? So how do you feel about it, and how do you think this thing is going to be priced?
Oh, it looks sexy. It looks so good. It looks so sexy. I do want it. One of the things that really interests me about it is, have they reduced the weight? Because everyone I know who plays like COD or any shooters on any type of pro level doesn't like the weight of the DualSense. It's too weighty for them. Like, I love it.
Me too.
But they're like pros. A lot of pros go back to the PS4 controller because it's a lot lighter. I love it. Fam, I'm playing RPGs and The Last of Us and Spiderman. I'm not going to be doing all of these fiddly paddles. I might try it for Apex, because I do love an Apex. But yeah, I like it. I think it's sexy. And it's 100% going to be over 150. Fam, they just added $30 to the PlayStation 5. This is going to be high price. This is going to be like, this is not for everyone. This is like, if you're a pro, you need this in your life.
Yep. I mean, like, even like the SCUF controllers that they have for the system already are like run like over 2 or 250. I don't think this is going to be under 150. I think maybe if we're lucky, it's going to be 199 USD. And I think they kind of have to cap it there, at least for the American market. Obviously, it'll be much more than that worldwide. Similarly to you, dude, I love the look of it. I think it looks really clean. I think it looks really cool. I don't know how much functionality I would get out of it. Similarly, like, I like playing shooters and I like playing different games like that, but like, it's just, I don't know if I want to drop that amount of money to be able to do that. And like I said, like, even like those paddles would go unused. I might use them like once in a while. I meant like, oh yeah, let me flip through my JRPG menus even faster with these paddles. But like, I think it looks awesome. I think for the people that have been asking for it, I think it does look like a lot of what the community has wanted from a DualSense Pro. Is it for me? Not really, but I'm excited that people are stoked about it, and I'm excited to take a look at it. I do want to, get my hands on it and see how it feels. Maybe it'll sell me more then. But yeah, I don't know enough on how to use all this functionality. People are like, you can swap out your sticks. I'm like, why? These sticks feel fine. But again, like the wear and tear, that I get. But yeah.
It's smart. It's a smart move on Sony. One thing I would say about this generation is there's a lot of things that PlayStation learned from the PS4 that they're hitting ahead of the curve. Because even down to like changing the faceplates, like they're like, We're not waiting around. Other companies are doing it. So let's get rid of them and let's do it straight away. Or like other people are making money on the controllers. Let's do that. Like people go crazy over the Xbox Elite. And like you said, those people are going crazy over the Elite and they're getting killed in Fortnite. One hit, fam. They're not even, they're like playing 89 and they spent all that on it. So it's all good, man. I think it's a very smart move from them. And the design, yeah, perfect.
It looks clean. So let us know in the comments, are you going to be picking up the DualSense Edge day one? Is the price going to be a massive factor for you, or are you in regardless? Let us know. Now, my dude, let's get into what is like a series and movie rock block, because we've got a bunch of news about PlayStation properties coming to various screens. I'm going to just read out all three, and then we can talk about what we're hyped for. The Umbrella Academy director, coming from IGN, written by Ryan Leston. The Umbrella Academy director, Steve Blackman, is going to be heading up the Netflix Horizon series and did confirm that Aloy will be the main character of the series. And that, you know, we do know that it is a series, so it's not just going to be a one-off movie. It's going to be a show of some sort, I'm assuming, or some sort of limited-esque type series. We also got confirmation that PlayStation is working on a Gravity Rush movie, coming from Matt Kim at IGN. PlayStation Productions and Scott Free Productions have become development on a movie based on the Japan Studios action game. Anna Mastro, who is the director of the Secret Society of Second-Born Royals, is attached to direct with a script from Emily Jerome, who is the writer of Panopticon. And we got confirmation that Sony is also working on a Days Gone movie written by Logan Plant. Logan writes that, reported by Deadline, Sony PlayStation Productions is apparently developing the film with an adaptation from the X-Men First Class story developer Sheldon Turner. Movie will be produced by Vendetta Productions and PlayStation Productions, though apparently they're eyeing current Outlander star Sam Heughan to play Deacon St. John. I'm going to start here, my dude. It wasn't the main actor for Days Gone an actor?
I don't get what's going on. Like, do you know what? There's very rarely news that happens around gaming that makes me not care. And all of these game movies, I just don't care. I think the only thing that they've said that has caught me, two things. One, when they mentioned The Last of Us, and that's because The Last of Us is one of the greatest narrative journeys. And I'm not even excited to watch it, but I'm going to watch it. And the Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. And the only thing that I loved about Ghost of Tsushima, they was like, nope, we are doing a full Japanese cast and we're keeping it completely authentic. But fam, I don't even care. I keep it a buck.
All right.
Like, and if I don't care, like, fam, look all of this gaming stuff that I've got behind me. I'm wearing gaming clothes every day. I'm watching podcasts. Like, I'm tweeting about gaming news. Like, if I don't care, I don't get who's meant to care. Like, Sonic, I cared about Sonic because Sonic makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank makes sense to me. I get it. They're animated movies. It works. But all of these, we're going to be able to turn these incredible narrative experiences like into movies for you and TV shows. I honestly don't care, because the reason why I want them narrative experiences, because you never used to do that in video games. Yep. Video games weren't about doing a narrative experience. And now you've learned to do that and you can earn extra money. Yeah, go get your guap. But I don't care.
You know what, dude? So very quickly, so Sam Witwer was the voice actor and the mocap person for Deacon in Days Gone. He is an actor. He was, he's been in a bunch of stuff, like a lot. So, like, I'm a little bit confused why they're not using him. He's a young dude. He's a good-looking dude. He's a good actor. Like, why not use him to play the actual character that he already played? That's the one thing that confuses me on that respect. But Days Gone, couldn't care less. I wasn't a fan of the game. Don't care about this property coming to a movie. Umbrella Academy, Horizon, I am really curious about. But I don't know. I feel like the CG is really going to have to live up to a level here that I feel like I don't know if they're going to be able to hit consistently. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that properly. And no lie, the Gravity Rush movie is probably the thing that I'm most excited about. That's a really cool world. Cat's a really cool character. I think it visually, as a movie, if they do the CG right, could look pretty cool. I think that, like, out of all of the things that we know about so far, yes, The Last of Us I'm stoked on because of what they're doing with it. Yes, the Ghost of Tsushima movie I'm tentatively excited for. But, like, I don't know. Days Gone I couldn't care less. Like, on Horizon, I'm not a massive fan of the lore in that world anyway, so, like, I feel like we're gonna get into this really weird middle ground with that series, but I don't know. I hope they stick the landing. I genuinely hope all of these things will be good. I do hope, you know, they all find audiences and they are all successful. The Gravity Rush, though, is the one I'm most excited about. But let's shout out, because we have a super chat in the chat right now. Mega ZX456, thank you so much for your donation. What's up, guys? What's crazy about the price increase is this might set a precedent in others to follow suit, especially after they reported record profits. So they're clearly not hurting for cash, in my opinion. I think you're 100% right. They are going to continue to sell this thing. I hope you're right in that, like, I don't want this to be a precedent. I don't want them to keep raising prices. I don't want to be buying a PlayStation 5 for $1,000 3 years from now, because they're going to be like, we're selling it. Get ready.
Well, and that's the main thing. And this president could be for everything. Like, the funniest thing is, do you know how I found out about a PlayStation increase?
How?
I saw loads of people tweeting about, oh my God, what's the new iPhone price going to be?
Yep.
And I'm like, why is everyone getting mad about the iPhone price? I couldn't work it out. And then I saw the PlayStation thing.
Yeah.
And everything. One thing, shout out Megas. Megas is a big Days Gone fan.
Yep.
Megas, Days Gone is trash. I've been telling you, fam. The game's trash. No one wants to watch the movies. It's trash. Thanks for the donation. You are my G. But the game's trash.
You know, I can always count on you to tell it like it is, Midas. But yeah, so we'll keep you appraised of all of these movies, all of this stuff, as we find out more. Let's end with one more story here, Midas, before we get into more questions. PSVR 2 will be released in early 2023, written by Matt Kim over at IGN. PSVR 2 will be coming sometime in early 2023. As it's been tradition with all PSVR 2 news, they just drop this on a random day at a random time, confirming absolutely nothing more and nothing less. They're like, it's coming early 2023. Be excited. Midas, I know you're not the biggest PSVR guy. Are you stoked on the second one? Is this a day one for you? How are you feeling about it and its launch window, let's call it?
Everyone take a seat. I'm going to take you on a journey, yeah? So, my first proper VR experience was with PlayStation VR. I had to do a review. I think it was a battle station game or something like that, and use this tank.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, Matt, I got so sick.
Yep.
I was sweating. My stomach went all queasy. Like, I got the worst motion sickness ever. Now I have motion sickness in my real life because I experienced it in VR. It's like my brain recognized it, and now I experience it in real life. So I am not the biggest fan of VR because it mashed up my body. But I have to say, the PSVR 2 does look pretty cool. I feel like, for me, I'm more interested in AR than VR.
Okay.
So when we can get to the point where I can, because I'm not sure if it does, but I was reading, I think it has AR segments, so you can actually still play but be within your room. Doesn't kind of shut everything off. So stuff like that. But yeah, the motion sickness thing to me just doesn't work. So I'm gonna play it. I love I'm glad that we ain't got these glowing sticks anymore, because that was dead. I'm glad they got a better screen, but I'll keep it a buck. I don't even know where my PlayStation VR is. I think it might be in a cupboard in my house.
So
it's not even in my studio, fam. I didn't even bring it to the studio. That's how much I care about it.
I feel that, and I get that. Like, yeah, the motion sickness is definitely, even for me, as like a diehard PSVR fan, it still hits me sometimes. You know, like, there's so much that you can do about it. You know, eating ginger, putting a fan on, but people shouldn't have to go through all these things. So I'm hoping that they figured out more of a way, and like the experiences have gotten a lot better, because yeah, at launch things were rough. Very, very rough, and they figured out a lot, you know, with the FOVs and how much you're able to kind of, you know, shadow around yourself to kind of limit the amount of movement. They are figuring things out. I still really thought the PSVR 2 was going to hit this year. I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised that it's coming early 2023. I I want it. I want it. I can't wait for it. I'm excited to dive into it. I'm excited to see what PlayStation has in store for it. It sounds like they're putting a lot more of their weight behind it. Early 2023 to me sounds good. That just shows, dude, early 2023 is going to be packed. We already know so many games. There's so much happening there. And I would assume that, Horizon's going to be a launch title. So, like, there's going to be so much good stuff around PSVR 2 when it launches. And I hope they stick the landing because, again, everything they did with the first one was really good, and I feel like everything they're doing with the second one is really incredible. So I hope it's going to be awesome. I hope it sticks the landing. But dude, let's get into it. Let's let some of our friends into the car with us because let's get into the carpool and get to some more questions. Ryan Turford, at Ryan Turford over on Twitter, asks, since I know both of y'all like JRPGs, what's the classic JRPG you want most on PlayStation Plus Premium? Bonus points for coming up with an additional game for PSP. My picks would be Jeanne d'Arc for PSP and Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete for the PS1. What do you think?
Firstly, Ryan, we don't pick up hitchhikers. We're not about that hitchhiking life. Yeah, I mean, you can't just jump in a whip like that. No, a super, super good question, and it had me thinking. So, one of my favorite JRPGs ever, and it's a Sega property, but Sega's in bed with everyone now, is Skies of Arcadia. Yep. So I love Skies of Arcadia. I think Skies of Arcadia is incredible. It's all about pirate, but in the skies and like that. Incredible. It's the JRPG that I've always wanted to have, that kind of Final Fantasy VII remake. I would have said Crisis Core, but obviously we are already getting that. Mm-hmm. So I would say, do you know Vagrant Story?
Yes.
Yeah, so Vagrant Story, old school. That's like got such great puzzle mechanics. So that would be a great one. Suikoden 2, I've never played. So Suikoden's a series that I hear so much about. And I heard I'd get bonus points for a PSP. So we are going with Valkyrie Profile, Lenneth.
Nice.
So Valkyrie Profile is old school. Lenneth is I remember playing that on a PSP. So those are the ones that I would love to come. There's a few more, but those are the ones that stood out to me. What about you, Matt?
So for me, like, again, classic-wise, I really want the Digimon World games, specifically Digimon World 2, to hit on that service. I have such fond memories of that game. One of the first JRPGs that I ever played. I remember just grabbing the Digimon, running around the dungeons in your little like car, and Digimon would pop up and come at you. Great class, turn-based strategy combat. Really, really loved it. So I'd really want Digimon World 2 to come back. And in terms of like the other stuff, obviously, like, I would mention Persona 3, but we already know that will be coming to the service. Well, not to the service, but to the console next year. Persona 1 and 2, I think would be perfect, especially given the opportunity to hop into those games and how many different versions there are of 2 as well, to kind of, let people experience those things properly with, 5 is already there. 3 and 4 are coming. Put 1 and 2 on the premium service, let people have access in that way. And this is a weird one for me because, like, Cold Steel was already on, but I want the Trails series back. To shout out the PSP, Trails in the Sky specifically. If we get 2 and 3, and the third on there as well, and the Cold Steel games from the Vita, and especially because they were ported to the PS4, so there's a lot of opportunity there. I think those games are just so special, and I really feel like they are very underrated JRPGs that not enough people have played. And they have this like you can play any one of the series in kind of an isolation, but all of them kind of build this massive story from different parts of the continent, and wars that start here have impacts in this game and stuff. So there's just so much cool stuff in that series that I would love to see those games exist on the premium service. So just more people can experience them. And they were already the Cold Steel was already there and they got taken off. So come on, what is with this stuff? Bring them back.
It all made no sense. I've never played a Digimon game in my life.
Dude, Digimon Survive might be one of my games of the year so far.
Yeah, I heard you talking about it, and I was like, do you know what? I need to. So is it Strats RPG? Is it more Fire Emblem-y?
So it depends on which one. Digimon Survive is a visual novel first that has like a Final Fantasy Tactics strategy RPG. But if you're looking for just like a more classic JRPG experience that's more along the lines of like a Pokemon or even a Persona, the Cyber Sleuth games are really good. They're a lot of fun, and again, like they take your more classic, JRPG turn-based battles, a world that you're running around with, completing side quests, grabbing Digimon. If you're a fan at all of the Digimon anime or the series, I would say Survive is awesome, but again, it is very much for people like us who love to read in their games and just spend literally an hour doing nothing but reading. But the story branches off in some cool ways. There's some cool options that some choices that you make. If you're looking for just more of a classic Pokemon-esque experience, the Cyber Sleuth games are fantastic and a lot of fun.
You know what series that I think they should really add as well, and I'd love to play? Have you played Wild Arms?
I haven't played Wild Arms, but I've heard of Wild Arms. Isn't Wild Arms on there?
Yeah, so I've never played Wild Arms. No, I've had a look, and I really like the kind of Wild West aesthetic. Mm-hmm. And when I played Live Alive, however you say it, I really loved the Wild West segment. And I was like, raw, how comes there's not more RPG set in this setting? And then, as you know, plug, I've got a podcast called Too Many Games, and I had gaming productions on there, and they were talking about this Wild Arms, and I was like, wait, there is a full JRPG series that is set in the Wild West. And they were like, yes, the sickest ever. And then I went and did a lot of research. So I think that would be a really cool one to kind of sink their teeth into, because that is an aesthetic that is super cool and not really visited enough.
Not at all, especially in JRPGs. So I'm with you. I think those games would be really cool. I've always heard about them, and I've always heard they're really good. Haven't had the opportunity to check them out myself, but I think that's a good call. We got a couple more questions, so let's roll on. Coming from Twitter, Nagachaka at Nagachaka says, questions for our special guest host. This is a divisive topic in the Carpool community, Midas, so I'm excited to hear you weigh in. Which game is better, The Last of Us or The Last of Us Part 2? And why is it Part 2?
Don't make me leave. No. All right, cool. Do you know when I read this, I was going to come in there jokingly and be like, of course it's Last of Us Part 2. Listen, The Last of Us is one of the most greatest created piece of media ever made. Mm-hmm. We're talking games, we're talking films, we're talking everything. The Last of Us is a game that changed video games. The same way Super Mario 64 changed video games, The Last of Us changed video games. We wouldn't have the God of War we have today if we didn't have The Last of Us. That game is incredible. We're talking within the first half an hour of that game, I felt emotions in video games that I've never experienced my whole life. Yeah. I've been playing games my whole life. Final Fantasy, one of my favorite games ever. There's a part in Final Fantasy that breaks my soul. And when I played The Last of Us, I think it affected me even more than that. So, The Last of Us is one of the most incredible creations ever made to man. The story, the journey from beginning to end, the characters, the way they build on it, like the tension, incredible. The Last of Us Part 2 has better mechanics, has better gameplay, has better visuals, but obviously they just learned from the second. But they was not... There's certain things that are lightning in a bottle, and that lightning in the bottle can never be recreated. You can never replay The Last of Us. Fam, just to open... You can just play the first half an hour, and it's better than most video games.
Fair. I see your point. I respect it. Last of Us Part 2 is still my favorite. That's what I mean. Leave. Dude,
we're done. We used to be friends. We used to be friends. I don't like you anymore. No, I'm only joking.
First is the beach party. Now we're on to this. They're having cracks in the foundation. But I agree with you. The Last of Us Part 1, masterclass, masterpiece. I just think what they did with the second one narratively, the way that they break you and then reassemble you, break you again, put you in a position that that they know you were going to hate at first, and then bring you back around, I think is just incredible storytelling. The way that all of that just comes together and coalesces. There were points in that game where I was just like, I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to. And I think that's brilliant. Like, even then, like, that was the first game that, like, my partner Senna was like, hold on, I need to go to the bathroom. Can you pause? Don't play anymore until I get back, because I want to see what happens next. And she's never done that with any game ever. So, like, totally respect the argument for number one, but I'm a team Last of Us 2.
Let me just jump in quickly.
Go.
The reason why you feel that way is because of the emotional attachment that you got to those characters from part one. If part one didn't affect you the way it did, part two could have never made you feel like that. And part two you can't go in to The Last of Us Part 2 and feel the way we feel. It just can't happen. Like, you can play Last of Us Part 2 and understand it's an incredible game, but you will never get that feeling. And the reason why you got that feeling is that first journey you went on. And if you never got that journey, you wouldn't have felt like that. So, in point, Last of Us Part 1's better.
I feel you. I feel like we're going to go in circles about this forever. Abby's one of the best characters in any game ever. Let's get into our last couple questions because we are running a bit long. Robbie Bobby Miller at Smooth423 asks, hot take. Do you think The Last of Us on HBO is getting high praise because of The Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal? I only say this because of the Uncharted movie casting. Where are you at on the series? Do you think it's because of Pedro? What are you thinking here?
Well, obviously, it's two things. Pedro is incredible at what he does, and he should get the praise that he does. But also, just this argument we're having right now, like, gamers are incredibly passionate about this series. So this is one of the stories that people are always going to be hype about. So I think Pedro's just adding extra. He's just Salt Bae, innit? Yeah. Just adding that extra spice on top. But I don't feel like he is the only reason. But he's a good reason to be excited.
I think he's a fantastic reason. I think, you know, I'm forgetting her name, but the character, the actress that plays Ellie, I'm very excited to see as well. I think people who are like saying, oh, I don't know about her after hearing like 2 seconds of a one line delivery need to grow up and understand that, you know, I'm sure she's going to kill it. But I think Pedro's a massive part of it. But I'm also very excited about the fact that Neil Druckmann was involved from the beginning. He was involved in the writing. He knows in characters about these, you know, characters intimately. And I feel like too many games, like look what happened with Halo, right? Too many shows or movies that come from gaming pay no mind to what came before them. And I feel like The Last of Us feels like, you know, what that show should be feels like what it's going to be. And I genuinely think that that will be one of the best, if not the best, video game adaptations ever, and probably one of the best shows of next year. I really do think it has that potential, and I think a big part of that is Pedro. I think a big part of that is the actress who plays Ellie, and I think because Neil's involved, you know, I think there's a lot of talent in the show that I feel like, you know, I really hope they stick the landing.
Yeah, you're completely right.
I'm with you, my dude. Last question. Mike at BlazeKnight0923. What have been some of your favorite PS4 to PS5 game transitions? Basically, which games got the best glow up from the PS4 version? What do you think, my friend?
You already... Oh, from the PS4 version. So, and so initially when I saw this question, I was just thinking glow up. Obviously, I was thinking Final Fantasy VII Remake. Nothing looks more incredible than that. But we might as well say The Last of Us, because I didn't actually realize how much of a jump there was from The Last of Us PS4 to The Last of Us Part 1 until I saw them side by side. Because obviously, initially, I thought they were showing just the PS3 version and then the PS5. But when I saw them show the PS4 Pro version to the PS5 version, that glow up is serious.
That glow up is huge. I'm with you. Like, I feel like because it's being rebuilt from the ground up, there's so much that they're doing with it. I also just really love what they did with Marvel's Spider-Man. Like the remaster, I think really nails it. They took already incredibly quick load times and made them even faster. They made the game look incredible. Playing it at 60 frames per second really just took the experience and took it even higher. So I think that's my favorite glow up, just because, like, again, they took everything that made the OG worth it and bring it to PS5, made actual tangible, you know, improvements that you could see and that you could feel. And I think they nailed it. And it wasn't like, oh yeah, you know, here's a little bit of Dualsense. I think they really did put the work in to make that game incredible on PS5. But that brings us to the end of the show, my dude. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a blast. Talking PlayStation with you is one of my most favorite things to do ever. But before we go, Midas, if people wanted to see and hear more from you, where could they do so?
So I'm everywhere, like I said before, but the easiest things to do is find me on Twitter. I always like to talk gaming, so it's at Mr Midas Games. I'm on Instagram if you want to just see me posing or putting up my gaming pics and that. That's Mr. Midas Games. I started a YouTube when the pandemic happened, so I've got my own podcast called Too Many Games and Not Enough Time, and I'm always posting reviews and previews on that. So that's youtube.com/Mr. Midas Games. Also, as well, if you've got any creators out there, I've got a huge competition right now that I'm giving away, a full content creator giveaway. So come and check that out. But before we go, I need to shout you out, my Don. Like, big praise. Like, you've been doing incredible. I watched from when you first started at the PlayStation Drive, and now that you're running the car, you've gone from passenger seat to, you get me? Like, you're out here, you're driving on the road, you're doing such an incredible job hosting. I love watching the show. I generally watch it. You see me in the comments all the time. So I just wanted to say, keep doing what you're doing. You're incredible at what you do. Thank you so much for having me. And shout out all the people who know Days Gone is trash.
Thank you so much, man. That means so much. Like, I really am proud of what me and Ryan did, and I'm very proud of what Court and I are doing. So we're going to keep doing it. I know you're going to be back to get into it. I feel like we need to have a massive argument about The Last of Us, and I feel like people are going to come for us about Days Gone. But yeah, Days Gone, not very good. That brings us to the end of the show. If you can, please head over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Tip your drivers. We appreciate all of you very, very much. Also, one last quick shout out to MegaZX456. Thank you again for your donation. We appreciate all of you so very much. And we will see you next TM. Peace.
The PlayStation Drive is fueled by the Patreons who truly make us believe that anything is possible. And we'd like to thank the more than 90 patrons who support us each and every month at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, with a special thanks to our ultimate producers, Mostly Martinez, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Dallas Ford, Trucker Soth, Jonathan Brown, who has a new album, In My Element, on Spotify and Apple Music, Drew Agnew, who is the host of the House of Mario podcast, Lee Navarro, who is the leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. The links are in the show notes. Please support these ultimate producers. Platinum producers, Brendan Myers, Becky Rubin Navarro, Skinny Matt, Robbie Bobby Miller. And then our gold members, Tom 4NKS, Slicely Carosa, Anna W, The Snack Network, Foolish Fuji, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Tony Baker, Mac Time, RJ Kern, Jose Jimenez, Ashley Nichols, Argo, Marcus O'Neill, and Dallas Robbins. To support the PlayStation Drive and get some awesome perks, go to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and